Morning YouTubers, welcome to Small Business Do-It-Yourself Payroll. I want to introduce a simple to use payroll package that caters for 1 to 10 employees. No sophisticated software, no annual subscription fees or ongoing fees. It's a complete standalone payroll package you can utilize through your phone, your tablet, your laptop, desktop. It costs around $350. It's a complete package. And it creates a timesheet payslip with very little effort. I think we'll get it on screen here so you can see how very basic and easy this is. This is the master data sheet. We'll come back to that, but it begins with the calendar. The basic calendar. You'll see that you have the year to choose. It goes it's continuous anyway. But January, you can begin this in the financial year if you want, beginning in July. Just for this purpose, I'm going to leave it as a standard. You can change the starting day of the week. So some I do like to see they start on a Sunday, but just for this particular one, I'm going to leave it as a Monday. Then you can highlight the days. So on this occasion, I've got Sunday highlighted and Thursday being sort of a normal pay run week, beginning, ending. So you have that option to change that anyway. So if your pay week finished on a Friday or began on a Friday, you could change that just to give you an idea, or you can have none. You can leave it as both open. You can change the color. Now this one here is critical. You got your highlight your holidays. So these are your public holidays. So this will give you an indication of where they sit in the year, and then this here allows you to change it to the relevant state you're in. Each one changes slightly, just enough to sort of throw you off a bit, but at least it captures it and allows you to do what you need to do on that day, because these dates reflect through to your timesheets. Once you've got that, and these dates here relate to this sheet here, which you don't really need to enter into. It's just more information, but that relates to these days, public holidays, and within the states. So that's the calendar. Let's go back to the employee. This is the master sheet, so you will enter all your details or your employees' details in here, and I've created some fictitious characters here, and I just want to enter some information here. Aaron Jones. Now the start date, that is the day of your pay week cycle begins. Days prior to that won't matter, it'll be a nil value. So let's just for this purpose, I'm just going to make it a Monday, which is 1st of the 1st 24, and you'll see that will come through on the timesheets. Let's just say he's an apprentice, and the award rate, just these are fictitious now. Now the employment basis, I'm going to say full-time. There's 3 categories there: full-time, casual, or day rate. If I enter casual, it'll ask me for a percentage rate, but just for this purpose, I'm going to go through a full-time position, and we'll come back later and change that and see what that does. Pay system, you've got weekly or fortnightly. We'll run weekly and we'll come back to that. Now these times here, you'll see that you've already got 0.5 there already, and it's been created through the pay system weekly. So because it's a mandatory break after 6 hours, so it will jump in there as soon as it can. So let's just say these normal finish and start times, if an employee begins at a certain time and ends at a certain time regularly throughout each week, that's an 8-hour day, this will populate into the sheet. You can change it at any point here or in the sheet, any sheet, but this just saves a bit of typing if you've got some regular times that they begin or finish. This sick leave carried over and annual leave it's carrying some over from previous, or the year before, or when you start this, they may already have accrued some. You put them in here, and that would carry through to when this begins. We've got some fictitious information there that will come through on the pay slip. Just fictitious numbers, addresses, mobiles, emails, supers, and bank account. But once you've got that information in there, these ones here are fairly critical, especially from this point, are fairly critical. We can pop it over and have a look at, see how this young fellow is doing. So that information's come through to here, and obviously will come through to here as far as what accrues and how that works as far as is full-time or casual or daytime. You'll see two buttons here, like remove public holidays and populate normal working hours. That's more for convenience than anything. I'll show you that as we get through it. The summary just goes back to this page, just handy if you're halfway through the year. But let's say those hours we put in, 7 till 3:30, if we populate that, you'll see Monday to Friday, it's put those hours in there instantly. So if you had a normal work week where those didn't change, that's your week done and ready for print or email. This will calculate everything from your superannuation through to your tax, gross and net pay. You'll see the accruals here as far as annual leave and sick leave. This is based on normal hours, 38 hours. So it doesn't matter about overtime, it'll accrue only on normal hours. That's basically, and what if we begun in week 6, but anyway, that won't matter. Let's say week 1, we'll just do the same. What you see in week 1 though is Monday is a public holiday. It still carries through as far as pay goes because he's a permanent full-time employee. But if there was no previous engagement from hours or days before, it'll give a nil value there, and you may need to manually put that. But because it's a new sheet and he's a full-time, it'll recognise it. So if we go to week 2, we'll do the same. Let's say, let's just say that week 2 he takes a bit of sick leave. Well, not a sick leave, let's say a bit of overtime. So let's change 3:30 and he finishes up at big night 6:30. You'll see that it calculates the time and a half and the double time relevant to that. I do this again. Let's go even later. I'll type the time in here. So let's say 9 o'clock, big day. Oh, 9 o'clock. It's this calculation there. It'll calculate those out. So 7.6 normal, you've got 2 hours at your time and a half, and then 3.9 at double time. It'll calculate that rate there as in time and a half and double time, and then carry that through to the end here. So let's say he works on a Saturday also, he just works say 7 till 2 o'clock. You see here the first 2 hours, time and a half, and balance is double time. And Sunday you can populate those hours here, and you've got the full 6.5 at double time. So if there's specific things in there you need to change, you can do it through the allowances there, and I'll show you that in a second. But you'll see it'll carry through this period, that's this pay period, and then year to date. And you'll see the annual leave and the sick leave are accruing based on the normal hours. If we go to week 3, let's populate the normal hours. And let's say Monday he's not feeling good, and he knocks off at 10 o'clock in the morning. So he's got 3 hours there, and he's gone home sick. So we can just populate sick leave there. You'll see that you'll still get your 7.6, which is what you'll have to pay in regards to sick leave. And then 4.6 hours is sick leave that he's taking, and the 3 hours is 3 hours he's worked already. So if we look at the bottom here, you can see he's taken 4.6 this time, year to date 4.6. puts him in a negative balance here as far as what he has accrued. That's if he hasn't already had some accrued from previously, which would have carried over and maybe not be negative. But let's say in this case that's negative. In fact, we'll go even more. Let's say take them away, and we'll make the whole day sick leave. You'll see now that he is over 1 day here, and it's in the red. I guess that's the employer's choice there to whether pay that or make it in a different way. And I guess the other way to make that happen would be to make him take it as annual leave. So he'll still get the 7.6, but he has enough annual leave there accrued, as you can see, from 5.8 here plus 2.9 for the week, 38 hours. He's half an hour there. Another one there, and it'll go into the red. So that's another thing the employer can take into account. If that's not viable, you can just go for unpaid leave, which will just put that back there, and then it's unpaid. He hasn't got any accrued sick leave or annual leave enough to do that, or if he doesn't want to cash in his annual leave. We go to week 4. Let's do it again. We've got a public holiday here. We can populate those hours during the week. Let's say each week it's an apprentice, you may have to pay some allowances. Let's say you got tool allowance. We'll do the week's worth there, so 38 hours at let's say 250. It'll accrue here within that day's range, or you could do it each day. 8 hours. You could set 8 hours at whatever rate. I usually find it's easier to do it at the end of the week with an accrual, depending on if he's worked all week. Obviously, some companies don't pay those allowances on public holidays or sick days, so a manual entry is probably required for that. Let's say on the Tuesday he's gone to site for some reason. He's gone to site allowance. He spent all day there. He's got 8 hours, and that's 450. That'll accrue here. There are a number of allowances here to get put in there, or you can just type one in manually. If you've got something that you really want to, there's an unusual one there, or a one-off entry, you could put that in there. Hours could mean items, could mean anything as long as there's a rate there. So it'll be, that all times that to give us that result there. So you can put anything you want there. So same thing, if he's due annual leave, let's say the Friday he wants to take that as annual leave instead. So he gets a super long weekend. He has it there, and he's still in the green here as far as accrued annual leave. That's basically entry of a full-time employee. You can see how easy that is, and it takes a certain week. If it's standard or normal, and you populated those hours, that's a week done there. It's done already. So very easily done. And this will populate right through to week 52. You can scroll right across here and see 52 is exactly the same, and you'll find everything's accrued year to date back to here. So that's basically timesheet for that employee. If we come back here now, we can go to summary, and you'll see that here is a summary of each of the weeks, and it'll tell you here. You can jump to a week from here. You can jump to week 16 and then come back. So if you have a query here, you can just jump straight to it and see what that value was. You'll see that there's allowances here, and the allowances are tallied up here. He's got several of them here. Yep. So that gives you a quick visualization of each week here. So and you can see the sick leave, annual leave used and balance, and sick leave taken. He's just taken the one there. So this is just a little more of an information sheet. If we go back to our employee data, you can literally go to a group summary, and you can see this employee, Aaron. You can jump to him from here as well, back that way. and then that's a summary of that summary sheet rolled up into one line. So that's this sheet rolled up into one line, which is literally this line. So I've created a few here in a few different scenarios. If we go back to here, if I can populate these others in here now. So we've got different ranges here from day rate. Let's say pick number 5 here. Our folder, we can just call him supervisor. He's on 25, and let's say we engage him as a casual basis, and casual for him would be 25%, paid weekly, and 9 to 5. Lunch break 2, we'll just reduce that to half, and we can jump to him now and see how that's come through. So it's a casual supervisor, 25 weekly. So if we, and what, because there's a casual here, there's no overtime, double time, it's evening rates and weekend rates and holiday rates. So what we've got here, if we put our normal hours in here, 9 to 5, you'll see the normal happen here. Wednesday, let's say Friday, let's say Saturday. Saturday he starts, night shift happening or something like that, and we can say he finishes at 9 o'clock. Now the Saturday rate is, so he's got 11 hours at the 150% of that. So it's sort of, Saturday is different to Sunday, because if I populate those hours through to here, you'll see that he's on a different rate there also. So with the after 6 p.m, if I change that to 7 p.m, so he's got 1 hour. Evening rate is a different rate, and that's why that's picked that up. And you'll see if there's a public holiday somewhere. See if we can find a public holiday here. And you won't find. Here we go. So, because it's a weekday public holiday, if I populate these hours here, it's not going to populate the hours in there because it's a public holiday, but I can put that in there manually now, and we can go 9:30 and he finishes at 6:30. So because it's a public holiday, it's at that higher rate, which is 250%. Being on a weekday public holiday. Should it be a weekend public holiday worked, it's 312%, so it gets pretty pricey. So, but anyway, that's basically the casual. We can go to the summary here, and you'll find the 2 weeks I played with. Even on a casual basis, you've still got superannuation accrued. So we can go back to here now, and we can go to the summary, and you'll see he's casual here, and you'll see that the sick leave and annual leave are not there because not applied to a casual, but he still receives the superannuation. That's basically it. Below here is just a general guide to sort of, if you want to have a play with sort of what it's costing you as far as per hour worked for all employees. Gives you a basic cost. Hasn't got overheads, hasn't got utilities, overheads, or anything else accrued in that, but it does cover clothing, workers' comp, liability, payroll tax, and safety. So sort of a bit there. You can toy with all of this and then put values in here to see, if you have an idea of what you're actually spending historically. This will tell you, because even if you do have 10 employees, you might only supply to 4. Workers' comp will obviously be all of your employees. It'll take all that into account. The different types of industry you're in will relate to that. Payroll tax, it's sort of depending on what your revenue is, I suppose, but it allows you to change that percentage based on what you historically know. or what you paid previously years similar, and then safety. So if you're doing that, you can put in there on average what you may have spent historically, and then the number of employees you might put through that. It just gives you a total value of sort of what it's actually cost per hour, per man hour, for all employees. And as it states there, not inclusive of overheads and operational costs, but general information. But that's basically it. Fairly easy to do. You'll see up to 10. If you only had 4 or 6, these will just stay blank, and you could easily change this. Let's say you changed one of these from a rate to either a higher rate or a full-time, or from casual to full-time, or vice versa, or any other way. It would allow you to begin another one at a different date, change that date, and which would then give you that revised rate. Because if you change it here midstream, like 6 months into it, and change it here, it's going to change the previous 6 months, so that it just doesn't cater for that. But that's basically it. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward payroll package that can be done on your iPhone, your tablet, your laptop. And as you saw, with seconds, you can have a week's worth of time in there. And even if you had changes, it's very easily done within a few minutes. Email a pay slip, email the pay. One thing I didn't show you, if you're emailing this as a pay slip, you would put the date in here. If there's no date in there, you would enter the date, any date there, and that will give him the account number it's paid into and how much, being that. That's it. I think there's some value there for a small business. I've operated in the small industry many years prior to this, and would have loved a simple to use spreadsheet like this to cater for pay, without using other software packages, which got a bit complicated and a bit not that easy to use, to be honest, or even not as easy to be flexible. I mean, being flexible is I think handy when you're in small business, and this allows you to do that. It allows you to do the full control without having to send off and get an update or some changes made. You can do it virtually yourself right here. That's it. I hope that can help some people, and hope that works for someone. Thank you.